Good to have you on board there as well. And thanks to all of you in the chat. Good day, everybody. Good day. Well, rough night. Hopefully tonight's better. Not the way you want to get off to a start in a huge series, but Carolina takes it to Florida State really in every way. They were the much better baseball team last night, and in the end, they take a game that was kind of dubbed the Battle of the Aces, and unfortunately theirs last night anyhow was certainly better. And you know they've now set themselves up. They've got to be believing North Carolina does to be in a prime position to win this series. And frankly, probably if you're them, you don't want to get overly greedy. Florida State's a very good baseball team, could come right back and even it up tonight. But in the sense that they did not have to go to their bullpen for a single pitch last night, North Carolina is loaded for bear for the next two games. And this is what Florida State finds themselves up against. It's not something you couldn't overcome. In fact, we may get that start that Tom and I have talked about. This could be the Vellini start. He's had good starts, and he's been very good this year. But this could be the home Vellini start we've been waiting for, the dominant presence. And he could pick up Jamie Arnold and the rest of his team this evening, if he is able to go out, go deep into this baseball game, help Florida State recuperate in the bullpen, and set up a Sunday for a rubber match. It would be ideal. That last night was not ideal, but I got to begin the day by saying that was very impressive, what we saw from Knapp. Knapp was as good as an ace can be, going a complete game and 115 pitches, Tom. He didn't walk a single batter. Really, the difference in the game is the fact that when we talk about the Battle of the Aces, he could locate fastball, and sprinkle in a secondary pitch here and there. And Jamie Arnold struggled with his fastball right from the jump. And from there, it was a problem. They ran up the pitch count on him. And by the time you got, I think it was to the fourth inning, he was already at 79 pitches. So this was not a commanding start from Jamie Arnold, unfortunately. He's still, one of these guys that finds a way out of problems, and he worked and battled and did all that he could, but he did not have his best stuff last night. And unfortunately for him, his secondary stuff was better than the fastball. And had he been able to locate that fastball, could have been very effective. But the bottom line was he could not.
Yeah, I think also you smell blood in the water. It's very good strategy out of North Carolina once you see that his pitch count is starting to rise. You know that he's on short rest by college standards by one day. You also know he's going to be a first-round pick. So they're going to protect him in this situation. Florida State's not going to let him get to 120 pitches if that's what it takes to go 6 innings or to go 7 innings. So once you get through about the third inning, because he was at 57 pitches.
Yeah.
At that point, because you have the lead as well, you're just waiting him out. As long as you grind and work some at-bats here, you're going to chase him before the 6th is complete, and you might get him done through 5, which is what they did. That's just really smart. Again, if the situation is a little bit different and he's filling up the strike zone, much like what North Carolina's pitcher did, then I'm sure North Carolina would have a different tack that they would take. But because you get to that 4th inning and he couldn't get out of that inning quickly either, I think he had 18, 19 pitches in that inning too, you're like, well, he's almost chased. There's no way in this manager's right mind, albeit an important game, it's a regular season game for a first-round pick.
Yeah.
He's going to get to a pitch count number on short rest, and he is done. So let's get into the bullpen, and they did with a multiple-run lead.
Yeah, and I think that, conversely, you look over at Knapp, they let him go, and you got to go guy by guy. Jake Knapp is a monster. He's 270 pounds. He's 6'5", 6'6", whatever he is. It's an easy 95. It's an easy 96. And when he's locating, this, I did not see the official stat. I know we can get it. I can find it out, but I venture to guess, and I think Eric Llewellyn said as much. I believe he threw over 90% fastballs last night. And I remember listening to Pedro Martinez talk about pitching, and I'm not mistaking Jake Knapp for Pedro Martinez or anybody else, but Pedro's a legend and a Hall of Famer. But what I would say is that he always talked about if my fastball was moving and I could locate it on that particular day, I didn't introduce the secondary pitches until I had to. If you started to kind of hone in on my fastball and I would locate up, down, away, in, all of that, 2 different types of fastballs, I would do that. But if you started to kind of get it measured by the 3rd inning or 4th inning, then I gave you the change. Then I gave you the curve. Then I gave you something else to think about so you couldn't sit. Well, I don't know that Knapp felt like he ever had to come off that fastball because we never squared it. And there were very rare moments, I should say, in which you would have thought if you were him, oh, they're on it. I mean, he's pounding the strike zone over and over and over again. And, this is a guy now, he started 13 games for North Carolina. They haven't lost any of them. He's 11-0, hasn't lost a game, doesn't walk people. I pulled up the numbers. There are 13 walks in over 80 innings now. He doesn't walk people. That's a sure thing they've got on the hill right there. That guy just kind of wrapped it up as ACC Pitcher of the Year there.
Well, and that's why we were swinging early. There are guys in our lineup that typically will work the count, and they were still hacking away first pitch. And Link was talking about that in his in-game interview from the dugout, and that there's 2 profiles to his 2 different fastballs. They were prepared for both of those as best as they could, but he's filling it up. So at that point, the first good pitch you see, don't waste it.
Let it go, yeah.
Let it go. And that's why, it feeds into itself, unfortunately. But there's 2 ways that can go. You can hit a pitcher like that out of the ball game because you put it in play, and the next thing you know, it doesn't matter. He's at 42 pitches in the 3rd inning. You scored 5 runs, and now they have to scramble and go get their bullpen ready. It just didn't work that way last night. And then by the time they got into the later rounds, a.k.a. the later innings, North Carolina's lead is so substantial that now he really doesn't have to throw anything other than the fastballs, even though his velocity was diminishing as the game went on. You saw it went from 96 down to 92s and 93s. Didn't matter. If you have a 7-run lead or a 5-run lead, yeah, I'm just going to try and give you length. So that way we're set up to win on a Friday night and a Saturday night in games 2 and 3.
Well, I thought it was frustrating. I was thinking about the remaining games. I was thinking about the game tonight, and I was thinking about the game on Saturday. And when he went back out there after having after the home run and after 8 straight batters, he dominates. He works back to back 1, 2, 3, 7th, and 8th. I mean, sweet Jesus, man. That was frustrating, more frustrating to me than the imminent loss, the obvious loss that was coming. I was thinking, you got to get to this bullpen. You've got to find a way to make them use some other arms. We never could. It was a perfect night for North Carolina. I mean, they could not have set this up any better. They had their horse be a horse on the road in that environment against that lineup. He dominated. Deserves all the credit. Link took that tact. It was the right tact after the game. Sometimes there's nothing more to say. I actually think it's easier. I think it's easier to accept as a fan. It sucks. You don't like it. Nobody likes to have an opposing team have their ace shove, but it happens. It's baseball, and you sit back. Well, it's locating tonight, and we're struggling. Struggling to put the ball in play. All right. It's easier to wash though, to digest and just move on, because it's rare that it's going to happen. It did.
What's interesting to me is that in the middle innings, you're done with Jamie for the night, and you have the 6th inning. You have to make a choice there about who you're going to in the bullpen.
Yes.
And Link tried to walk the fine line between conceding the game, but then also
which
burning.
Which you would never say aloud, and they wouldn't call it that, but I'm with you.
And burning one of his better arms. Now, what he would tell you, I think delicately, is, well, we need to get to the 7th. I wanted to get to the 7th, and we picked the guy we had the most belief in. But the moment that Martinez comes in a 3-run game, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So it's not Joe Charles tonight. It's not Abraham. First man up
He's telling
Mason.
You that we're playing for tomorrow.
That I would like to get back in this game, but I'm not going to lose tomorrow at the expense of chasing after an ace tonight who looks to be locked in. Yeah, that decision tells you from the dugout in that moment, and it's not an easy one, because if it's the 7th inning, I think it's a much easier call to make, and I think you probably go after it. But in the 6th, he's like, I don't know. Who am I going to burn? And then what I was glad to see was after that doesn't go well, and they scratch across their first run with the bunt, the next guys that are warming up are not. You're not chasing it
Right.
too late. You're not. It's not Abraham. It's not Joe Charles. Instead, it was Kinnear and then Holtz.
Suffice to say, and it's good they got Holtz, into the game, got to pitch, got a couple outs. It was nice to, I think he was pretty pleased with what he saw, by the way, from Holtz. I think he liked what he saw from him. Effective against lefties. This will be interesting to see how much they can get out of him. I think they're looking at right now 15 pitches to 20 pitches. How built up can you get with him to 25 to 35 to 40 when you start getting into the postseason? It's unfortunate that a game that high profile, that important, ended up being one-sided as it did. But I agree, you're looking at the long game and you're saying, all right, coaches will never say this, but we know they do it. You're saying, I'm not going to cut my nose off to spite my face here. We're not winning tonight. If we do come back, okay, I'll change course, but we're not winning tonight, so I'm not going to waste these on. If this were a postseason game, he would have managed it differently. There's no doubt.
100%. Yeah, I think in this situation, you hope to get the 0. There's a decent shot that you still do get a 0. And if we do, and if we scratch across a couple of runs, all right, now guess who's warming? One of my guys. But we're stuck. We're right in between. And Jamie's count was in the 90s. You could have run him back out there for another inning, but I think that's, again, it not being normal college ref.
He also wasn't that effective, so I don't know that you want to run him back out there. I mean, you're starting to see the wear and tear. He's not locating the fastball. You're like, what's the point of that? Why would I run back out there?
Well, yeah, you're weighing him against Martinez.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When you're judging between those two, maybe you roll Jamie out there for one more inning. And I think he would have if it was a Friday, if it was a week apart from the previous outing. Like, this has been very important to Link, and he's put this on a very important pedestal about the jet lag and the travel. And I don't know if it's self-fulfilling or not, but we did look a little bit out of sorts last night. I'm like, man, you did have several days to get back to Eastern time zone.
Yeah, I don't even know how to address that other than to tell you that I don't think time zone travel or anything had anything to do with it. He might say that. I disagree with him. I'll say that publicly. I think it had everything to do with their starting pitcher. I think it had everything to do with Jake Knapp throwing 115 pitches and dominating Florida State and not walking a single batter and pitching a complete game. And, what are you going to do? That dude is 11-0. He's going to be the pitcher of the year. He's that good. Good for him. He dominated the game. Now, beauty of baseball, as Mike Martin used to talk about, is you get to play again today. And it could be a very different looking game. They need Joey Vellini, who has been a horse himself. I mean, let's not forget, Joey Vellini's out here with a 2.65. I mean, this guy's been good. And he, this year, seems better suited to go deeper into games than Jamie Arnold does. So I'm expecting him to go out and pitch very well tonight.
I think he will, but if it is a little bit dicey, it's a short leash, because you have both Abraham and Joe Charles ready tonight. I wonder if it's the 4th inning and he got a couple of guys on and he's had control problems. I think we have somebody warming in this situation. You got to win today. You have to manage this one like it's the second game, or you already have a loss in a double elimination format. You got to get this one today because tomorrow's whole staff.
Unless you're using half your staff tonight, if you pull them early, is my point. That's the fear. I don't know. That's a dicey one. We're debating on the bench kind of conversation here.
Well, to me, I think that decision was made yesterday, that you don't go get one of your top flight arms.
Mm-hmm. Well, they
spell Jamie, because it's only a few. I think it's 4-1 at that point.
Yeah, but I think he knew they weren't going to get the Knapp.
I mean, it's only 3 runs. That's why you're stuck. You're right in the middle there. It's the 6th inning. You're stuck. But to me, that decision tells me that today is going to be managed as though you already have a loss in a double elimination format. I really, and Vellini could make it moot. I hope he does.
They need Vellini to be a stud. They need him to go out and pitch really well today. I like his mental makeup. I like the toughness of him. I tend to think that he's built for this and can handle that. We'll see. It's a singular game. We get wrapped up in results and forget about the big picture of how many games we've seen guys be good, how many times they've played well, especially fresh off of not playing well. We tend to, castigate them to, hey, this is awful. We're going to stink in the postseason. You don't know that. They were bad last night. Hurts. They got dominated last night. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we've watched teams stumble down the stretch and get into the postseason and play great at every level of baseball. We've seen college baseball teams lose 7 of 10 to close out their year and look dead in the water, win a regional, move on to the next, find themselves out away from going to Omaha. We've seen Major League Baseball teams. The Arizona Diamondbacks damn near lost their way out of the playoffs, went to the World Series against the Rangers after dropping some ridiculous 10 of 12 or whatever it was. So I don't put too much into it other than to say that kid was good last night, dominated our lineup. Jamie wasn't his best. He'll be better. He wasn't last night. I am bothered by the inability to locate the fastball consistently, though. That everything off of that is going to be what's key. Is he can throw those secondary pitches, but only if he's going to be able to locate his fastball. He basically when he's not himself, when he doesn't pitch well, my thought is he becomes a 2-pitch pitcher that will occasionally, seemingly, almost luckily, there's a better way to say it, find a changeup for a strike every now and again. But he just becomes fastball slider, and they sit around and wait on 95 right-handers, sit around and go, okay.
I think what's tantalizing about him as a prospect is relative to his opponent last night. Now, in some ways, what Knapp has gone through is a benefit to the organization that drafts him because he's a grad student.
He's old. He's 25 years old.
Right.
I mean, that's what they're going to be hesitant about.
He's already had Tommy John.
Yes.
So he's already had that. In that sense, you almost kind of like that. Like, all right, well.
Yeah. He's a grown-ass man.
Jamie's 21.
Right.
That's the thing here.
They're going to put weight on him. And yes.
Well, they're going to put weight on him. And also, when he doesn't have his fastball, he can still strike out 8 dudes in a really good lineup that's been averaging about 9 runs in the last month, 9 runs a game. Now, they still scratched across quite a few against him and put together some excellent at-bats. But the point is, he doesn't have his jab to establish, and yet he can still fan you. That's how good the secondary stuff is. I think that's part of it where a scout might walk out of last night's game and say, I don't love the body language. I don't love some of the things that I saw control-wise last night. But I do love the fact that he didn't have a fastball and dudes still swing and miss at his secondary stuff.
Well, he fights. I mean, that's the thing that's admirable. Is I think he fights like hell. He was fighting last night just to keep them in the game. He did not have his stuff. And, he still throws nearly 100 pitches in just 5 innings. That's not going to get it done. That's going to, he's probably very frustrated by that. And again, that comes from not being able to locate the fastball. But he does fight. And you make the good point. If we're talking about his future, what is tantalizing is that he has stuff and he's 21. So that kind of young, you'll work with him on that changeup to make it more consistent. It's not consistent at all right now. He never has gotten it consistent this year. And I think that Micah thought it would be, and it's just not. There are days, but it's not as consistent as it needs to be. But it's a good pitch. So he has it. He's just got to find a way to get more consistent with it. And they're going to put size on him. He's going to get to 210 pounds, and he'll be better equipped to go deeper into games, and it'll be a little bit easier for him when he's stronger. And so, there's a lot to love. It's just, unfortunately, last night in the Battle of the Aces, the other guy's ace was a much better pitcher last night. Last night. I want to emphasize last night.
It had that feeling of inevitability. That's when an ace is doing what an ace does. You're like, oh, well.
Well, it's an easy release for him. And when you watch it, he's a horse. He's a big, big dude.
And then they made a couple of key plays, 1 or 2 in the infield, and then their outfielders can fly.
They can run.
They can really run. You talk about expected on-base average, a couple of those things, the Chase Williams sack fly. What kind of jump is that?
Kid goes.
That kid, I don't know about his arm, because when he threw it in, I was like, what the hell? But he can fly and take away. That should be at least a single, if not a hustle double, because he gets to the wall, runs, scores, and maybe you scratch across 2 or 3 in that half inning. But I think the next play they made by the left fielder, or the previous one, was awesome as well. So that was just a comprehensively good night if you're a Tar Heels fan who's watching baseball on a Thursday.
Which is what Link said after the game. They outplayed us. They played better baseball than us. They were better than us. And now what the last point on this is, it again goes back, and that's why I was telling the story about Pedro. It's like, if you can locate, and I mean really locate, on any given night where you're dotting, this is on the black inside, This is on the black outside. This is the lower part of the zone across the knees, but it's a strike. This is the high part of the zone, and it's got velocity, but it's in the zone. It's up and away in that quadrant. If you can do that, you really don't have to throw many other pitches. You can show them. You can just show them a changeup here and there, show them something else here and there, just junk. Just show it to them so they can't constantly sit dead red. But that's frustrating because in our mind, when you watch any baseball game, I mean, they're not going to, as a hitter, you don't want to be late on the fastball. So everybody goes up there looking for the fastball and adjusts off of it. Has to with as hard as these guys throw today. So you're going up there with the approach to be sitting fastball and adjusting off of it. Now, you may eliminate sides of the plate, but to be sitting there knowing, he talked about it afterwards, we went into the game knowing we were going to get spoon-fed a boatload of fastballs. That's what he throws. And not being able to do anything about it just shows you that pitchers control baseball games, period. It doesn't matter what everybody else is. It doesn't matter speed, doesn't matter the depth, it doesn't matter power. If a guy can locate fastballs repeatedly exactly where he wants to pitch you based on the scouting report of what you do as a hitter, he doesn't have to go to many other secondary or third pitches. They could just throw that over and over and over again. It's hard to do, and it's rarely seen. But when it is, you're like, reminder that location, fastball, challenging hitters, going after them, being in the zone constantly. Boy, that becomes an efficient night, because I would dare argue that 115 pitches in 9 innings it's not that gross. There was a time we'd watch college baseball games and pro baseball games, guy threw 125, 135 pitches.
Dude, there's a guy starting for the Yankees tonight in the Bronx named Rodon, who NC State abused.
No, constantly.
155, 160.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was, 8-10 years ago.
What drives me nuts watching, I just got done reading a lengthy article about analytics ruining the aces of staffs and not allowing them to try to complete games, not allowing them to go 8, not allowing them to throw more than 105 pitches, 103 pitches. I'm like, Paul Skeens is 258 pounds. He's 6'5". He drives everything with his legs. You're going to pull him at 99 pitches? Man, I think he can go a little bit more here.
Well, we hit the number. 99.
I mean, we got to get him out. I'm like, do you? I mean, he's all right. He'll be okay. It's a big man. He's not some, flimsy 165 pounds out here.
That's one thing I would love to just be in the room to be. Stupid question, guys. Stupid question.
Can we leave him in?
I'm going to show myself out. Do we monitor how many pitches they use in the bullpen before the game and how many before each half inning? Could we shave off maybe 3 or 4 from each of those?
Save the bullets for...
I mean, look at that. I just found you 20 pitches. Oh, my God.
Save the bullet, boys. Yeah, man. It is frustrating, very frustrating. But not frustrating is calling my friends at T-Spark Enterprises when, unfortunately, some damage might happen to your roof or you just need a brand new roof. Could very well be that you're a commercial builder and you're going to build out. You need a new facility, something along those lines. Maybe you just need somebody who is versed in all areas of a build-out or roofing construction project, whatever it might be. 850-766-1340 for T-Spark Enterprises, best in the business. License number CGC 1525336, CCC 1331204.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our used showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Your story can get into the dust. Let me know you need that education. Something you got to do.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
There's no sugar and air conditioning.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Do you have spring fever? Your only prescription is the Lawn Johns. Hi, it's Mark from the Lawn Johns. We can make your landscape more appealing by providing you with award-winning lawn care. With 4 levels of service, the Lawn Johns offers you more choices than the rest. More flowers, more mulch, or more pine straw all means that your home or office will be more beautiful than ever. So if you've got spring fever, go to thelawnjohns.com or just look for our big purple truck.
I gotta have more cowbell.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653. Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Mike Norvell putting a little notice out there that he thinks Tommy Castellanos should be one of the best quarterbacks, expects him to play like one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year. I don't know that there's anything, salacious about that. I think every coach would say about his starting quarterback, he'd like him to go out and play like one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year. And they're certainly going to try to, I would think you're going to try to bolster one's confidence by suggesting you think he's capable. He's capable of it.
Yeah, and the context of this was the question was, is he your starter?
Because he's never said it was.
Right.
He's never said he was. We know that he's going to be, but we've never said that he's never said that he is.
He decided to, hey, you can go a couple of ways with that. You could just say yes, of course, or you could, take the tact. Not only do I think that he's going to be our starting quarterback, in fact, I believe, and that's basically the route that he went, which is, oh, yes. And we believe he's going to be very, very good.
Do you remember last year, Boston College losing to Missouri 27-21? You remember that?
Was that the week right after we played them?
No, they housed somebody the week after they played us, and then they played them. That game, interestingly enough, I go back to that one because that was that Missouri team. If you're talking about athletes, anyhow, you're going to look at, okay, that's akin to many of the upper echelon teams or some of the better teams in the ACC, right? So what was Thomas Castellanos in that game? He was 16 of 28 for 249 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also threw 2 picks. As far as rushing goes, he didn't run much, and this is why we're going to look at a different quarterback here than they were trying to sculpt there at that time, which is why he's no longer there. You would think in that game you would have wanted to run him more. He did run eventually 13 times, but not for much, 32 yards. You got to incorporate sacks in there because college is silly and they do that. But Tom, 16 of 28 for 249 and 3 TDs and 2 picks against light competition there. The difference being, I would guess, a better look at what would be a perfect afternoon for Thomas Castellanos against teams of that caliber for Florida State would be same sort of completion percentage, maybe a little higher, a little less, whatever it might be. Yardage, I bet, somewhere in the low 200s, combined with, 80-plus yards rushing? Wouldn't that be the sort of standard box score you're going to look at after a win in which he plays well?
Yeah, and I think that this becomes a fun discussion because you've seen that he's a 1,000-yard rusher earlier in his career, and you just wonder what is the number that is fair to expect out of him as a rusher at Florida State? Because if you're saying it's 80 yards a game on average, then he's right around 1,000 yards for the 12-game season. He's at 960.
And he's rushed for over 1,000 yards in a season before, so there you go.
Exactly. So you do have some precedent there. But the one thing I did like about his stat line last year, without watching a ton of Boston college football, because, no thank you, he only threw 5 picks in the amount of games that he played, which was right around 10. 18 touchdowns against 5 picks. So at least the lessons that Bill O'Brien was trying to impart
about taking care of the football.
Yeah, as he's evolving his game. Because what he's thinking is, I've got a great runner here. Don't care much about that. Let's evolve him into a passer and scare people with his legs, at least as a decoy, because they never really used it as a primary weapon in that offense. But it's not like he was 18 touchdowns and 14 picks. And you're like, well, what the hell?
Right.
So he does take care of the ball, which I think would be very, very helpful this year because we're going to have to win above, the margins.
Well, in his game in the win against Michigan State, he was 10 of 16 for 140 yards, a touchdown. Did not throw an interception. They relied on Trayshawn Ward to win that game for them. 14 carries, over 100 yards rushing, and a touchdown for good old Trayshawn Ward. I'm just, again, I'm pulling up games against teams with some athletes. Michigan State's not an elite team, but I'm not trying to give you the stats from the 56-0 win over Duquesne. So you go to Boston College. They lost that game. You go to Boston College games against Virginia. A loss. This is where things start to fall apart because you don't want to lose that game. But Virginia played well early last year. Boston College loses it. They were 4-1 at the time of the game. Castellanos was 22 of 30 for 254 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, did throw 2 picks in that game, was sacked 3 times. They lose 24-14. Did not really run him at all. And they used, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they ran Castellanos 10 times for a total of 19 yards.
Yeah, that sounds like there were quite a few sacks.
There were quite a few sacks. But even if you, get rid of some of that.
Because that counts as a carry.
It does. Okay, I'll get rid of some of that. And it still doesn't come out to much, Tom. It still comes out to basically like 20 yards rushing.
Sure. So he eclipsed last season 60 yards rushing 1 time, and it was against us, and that was in mop-up duty. That wasn't even the design.
They were putting the game away. They let him, he just took off.
The previous season, he did it 9 times that he rushed for at least 60 yards, and he usually blew past that number. 2 seasons ago, his completion percentage was at 57.1. Last year, a shade over 61. My guess is in this offense, because Gus gives you layups to start games, Dominic Robinson did an excellent job of showing that over the years. It could be Jared Stidham. It could be Marshall. Didn't matter. Layups for quarterbacks to start games is a big part of his offense. I would think you can still get Castellanos in that lower 60s, 60 to 63% completion percentage and still have him rush for around 800, 850 yards. The whole thing that you're going to be leaning on is your other running backs need to be good, and then your receiver play has to be pretty decent as well.
Yeah, it's weird. The Virginia Tech loss where they get beat down, he doesn't turn the ball over. He throws for 205 yards. He's 17 of 26. Tom, he ran for 89 yards on the ground and 20 carries. Now, he ended up getting sacked a bunch, and that brought the total down when you look at it from the official box score. But just just gaining yards. He ran 89 yards in that game. You think about that. That's almost 300 yards of offense for him. with no turnovers and 2 touchdowns, and they got blown out. And I'll grant you, obviously, when you can't stop the other team's opposing running back, and they could not, he ran for 266 yards against them.
Tootin is unbelievable.
Yeah, that'll change the dynamic a little bit, but that's not a bad game from Castellanos. And I think you'd be tempted by going back and doing the research and looking at these games, looking at these scores. Sometimes on the surface, you see that. You go, well, they got blown out there. You can see why they were getting closer and closer to benching him. He didn't play that bad there. He didn't play poor. They couldn't stop the Virginia Tech running back. That was the whole game. He didn't turn it over once.
Yeah.
If he doesn't turn it over, is my point here, and they're going to run him more here, he could be very, very efficient. I might not call him one of the best quarterbacks in the country, the way Mike Norvell just said he needs him to be or would like him to be or expects him to be, but he could be very, very efficient. If you're not turning it over and you're throwing the ball 17 for 24, 225 yards and a touchdown, you run for another 60 to 80, that is good days at the office.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'll pull up the schedule as we often do here on this program, and you're a team like, let's say, Virginia Tech. You're coming to town here on November 15th.
Drone's still the quarterback?
He is, for the 95th year.
Yep, seems that way.
So if they're coming to town and their radio team and their YouTube team are breaking down the game, and you see that we're in the middle of November, that Castellanos averages 220 a game, 218 and a half, whatever, something like that.
Yep.
And he's thrown for, because this will be game number 10, he's thrown for 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, but that he's got 675 yards on the ground.
You'd say, man, this is a dual threat problem.
Yeah, that's exactly your scout. Your scout would be, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we need to stop their traditional run, because if we don't stop their traditional run, then it becomes a real nightmare. But this kid is a multifaceted issue. And I think that's what we're shooting for here. Yes, is something between 200 and 225 passing yards a game. There'll be plenty where it's $178 or $185. But then beyond those passing yards from Castellanos, you're looking for at least 65 gross yards or 85 gross yards before the sack numbers.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And if you get those two things out of him, then chances are your read option game is going to look good. The reverses, all those little gadgets that Gus likes to run, you're going to be in pretty good standing offensively, where you should be pretty efficient.
For those that are wondering what was the impetus for this conversation, again, I go back to something that Norvell explained. His goals for Castellanos, and far higher than just being the starting quarterback. This article on Warchant.com, you can read it. Ira wrote it. You talk about being a starting quarterback. Our expectations are for him to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. The quote itself is something that will get attention. Quote, he's very talented. He's got great skill with his arm, with his legs. But the thing I've been impressed with is his leadership, the investment he's making into his teammates, the way he really just provides a spark. From the minute he steps on the field, guys offensively and defensively are drawn to him. He's been great for our quarterback room. I think that's really a special room when it comes to the talent and ability that those guys have. Tommy's got one of those personalities that draws people to him, puts a lot of time into building those relationships. Pleased with what we've seen so far. Now, again, I would not expect him to say anything different. He also had glowing things to say about Brock Glenn. You're going to try to build up all of your quarterbacks. He said he's very impressed with freshman signal caller Kevin Sperry. Quote, he hit the ground running, talented young man, great with his arm and legs, definitely excited about what he brings to the program. This is what he's going to say, especially when he's in Jacksonville talking to boosters and on any sort of tour like that. And I think that's great. And I don't know how much of that is, just building guys up through the press, through quotes, staying positive, and how much of that is in earnest that he believes, look, honestly, I think Castellanos can be great. I think Brock Glenn's come a long way, and there'll be some opportunities for him perhaps, and et cetera. But I got no problem with that. I had somebody asked me online, you think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country? I don't. But I don't know that, Mike saying that he expects him to play like one of the best quarterbacks in the country, there's anything wrong with that. It's not, that doesn't bother me at all.
So Gus Malzahn invoked Nick Marshall's name on the booster tour. I think it was the Tallahassee meeting where they were talking about their roster. And he said that Tommy is not unlike what Nick Marshall was for them at Auburn. And I just went back to their national championship appearance season.
I was about to say they did not win a national championship with Nick Marshall. Somebody beat him.
Yes, national championship appearance season.
Mm-hmm.
He played 12 of their first 13 games before the Natty. He missed one, but this includes the SEC championship game. So if you're just looking on an average basis, in terms of passing yards a game, he was at 146 passing yards a week.
Yeah.
And then rushing wise, he ran for over 1,000 yards. So quick math there, you're talking about whatever, 80 and change.
They were running his ass. That's
right.
what they were doing.
12 touchdowns to 5 picks. He had 11 touchdowns on the ground. Now, he's not as gifted a passer as Tommy Castellanos is because he was a converted member of the secondary.
Yes, he was.
But I think that it gives you an idea of the splits there. That's close to 150 passing yards a game with a bit of a higher rushing total. We're looking for probably closer to 200 yards a game out of Castellanos, but there it is. Those are the splits. The completion percentage for Nick Marshall that year was 60%.
Well, if he hit 60%, I'll be fine with that. But, Tom, the biggest question then becomes not Castellanos, but becomes your starting running back and your starting offensive line. Because that Auburn team had a real run game, a nasty run game. There was a physicality to that offense that we didn't associate with the style of play that Malzahn had ushered into the game. And that was because of what they could do. Run first, offensive line, running back, pretty plus across the board there, which set everything else up for Marshall to do. Castellanos could have a huge year if Florida State has some semblance of that kind of efficiency on the ground, running the football traditionally. That would be a massive boon. Something that I think would probably surprise us more than Castellanos playing well is that kind of proficiency on offense running the football.
Now, here are the numbers from the next season with Marshall. He's a little bit more
seasoned,
used to the position of quarterback. If we get these numbers from Castellanos, what is our record?
Okay.
All right. He completes 60.8% of his passes. This is 13 games worth of data. He threw for 2,500 yards for the season.
Damn.
All right. 20 touchdowns passing.
All right.
7 interceptions. He also had 800 yards rushing and 11 touchdowns. If Tommy Castellanos provides Florida State 2,500 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 7 picks, and 11 touchdowns on the ground, what is our record?
I'm going to really, at that point, belabor the fact that he hasn't rushed for over 1,000 yards, that our play calling splits aren't right is what I'm going to do there.
I think we've won 8 or 9 games.
Oh, 8 for sure, and maybe even pulled off one of those upsets to get to 9. I agree with you. It's Jeff Cameron Show, running way past the break. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Just one day after the Florida State University campus shooter appeared for the first time in court, a grand jury indicted him on multiple murder charges. Phoenix Eichner was indicted on 2 first-degree murder charges and 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder with a firearm. He's accused of opening fire near the FSU student union last month, fatally shooting 2 people and injuring 7 others. He could face life in prison or the death penalty. The grand jury concluded that Eichner acted alone and that his targets were selected at random. They also believe that there were no warning signs. The 20-year-old had no history of mental health or behavioral referrals indicating him as a threat at Leon County Schools or Tallahassee State College or at FSU. He was officially charged after his Monday release from the hospital. He was hospitalized for several weeks after being shot in the jaw by law enforcement as a respondent to the campus shooting. Eichner is expected in court for an arraignment hearing on Wednesday, June 11th. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by McLemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 95. Southwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 70 tonight. Cloudy skies expected. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 96. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 88.
Now that the brutal North Florida and South Georgia winter is over. Okay, we had a couple of cold snaps, but still, now is the best time to give your AC system a good cleaning. Dust can build up in your AC system, leading to higher utility bills and poor air quality. That's when it's E&B to the rescue. Our 21-point inspection and tune-up costs only $99 and keeps things working their very best. So before the summer hits, get your AC spick and span. Call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning today.
them by now?
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
But I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe in
I
Bigfoot.
believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Look at that deal for those of you watching on the YouTube channel. Even if you're not watching on the YouTube channel on Warchant TV, if you're a student at FSU and you're driving about town listening to the Jeff Cameron Show, like so many have after decade after decade after decade. Sad to say that out loud. Also cool to say that out loud. Anyhow, you could have a free membership to warchant.com. That's right. Get your own Warchant handle today. You can type it in there to the rooms, Tom, and you could be, Seminole Tim. And you could, or whatever you want to be, and you could chat it up with everybody on the message boards.
Blow, Seminole Tim.
For free. Free FSU student memberships. And all you got to do is email support@warchant.com from your FSU email address to start today. No credit card required. No money required. With your broke ass, you can be a member on the tribal council doing it up.
If that was available, we were talking during the break yesterday. It's a really good promo because when I was in college, I didn't care at all about warchant.com. I didn't care at all about Scout, or any of the networks with recruiting.
Any of them, yes.
I was like, man, call me when they get here and they're good.
Yeah, you weren't a recruitnik, right?
And my roommates were. One of them was a Notre Dame fan, so he had Irish Illustrated, and the other had Warchant.
Screw that Notre Dame fan.
They both really wanted this player named Julio Jones, who was a wide receiver. They're like, man, we got to get Julio Jones.
This Julio Jones character is a player.
That's right. Yeah. But if it was free 30, my man, I would have been so into recruiting way earlier in life. So yeah, it's free. No credit card. This isn't one of those deals where it's like, yeah, maybe next year you'll have to give. No, it's free. So just support at warchant.com. Email today.
Really quickly, you still wouldn't have been a recruit, Nick. You just would have utilized the free membership to be on Warchant and argue amongst them.
Yeah, I would have read Corey Dowler's column. That's what I would have done back in the day.
Good old Corey Dowler. Yeah, you would have you'd have done it up because free is good. Free is good. Who's going to be above and beyond tonight for Florida State?
All right.
Is it Joey Volini? Is it Joey Volini that takes it to a place that we say he's our above and beyond player of the week? When we come in on Monday, will we do it that way?
Yeah. I think it's going to be Harrelson tonight. I got a feeling.
Gage Harrelson going to set the table.
I think that poor throw from right field is sticking in his craw.
Pissing him off.
Certainly pissed off Jamie, and we got to be better than that, Jamie, in that moment. Cameras caught you.
Well, he had bad body language all night long.
Yeah. Come on, man. But that guy being a table setter and then maybe a couple into the gap tonight. I'm not calling for a home run from Gage, but I feel like a on base 4 times tonight kind of a performance out of Gage Harrelson.
Okay.
Which sets the table for Lodi's to do what he does and Max. And we're probably going to focus on the big moment, the big powerful swing from Lodi's or Max.
But it will have been the precursor that we need to focus on.
Yeah. Yeah, he went above and beyond. That's what happens tonight with Gage.
AboveandBeyondVR.com. Go check out those deals. No family owned and operated. Dunedin, Clearwater Beach, that area right there, guys. Over 30-plus properties. Do it up. Many of you have, but many more need to get off their ass and do so today. Let's get it done. You've got a whole summer's worth of planning to do. Save a ton of money right on the freaking water. Forget about it.
Go next week. It's going to be 96.
Okay. I wouldn't have brought up the 96 part.
No, here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about down there. I'm like, Tom, why would you do that?
It's going to be 96 here.
Yeah, go get that Gulf breeze.
Go have the low 90s on the Gulf.
Yes, much better. Much better. Okay, I see you working. My apologies. I'm like, don't sabotage me. We're doing good things here for our friends at Above and Beyond. aboveandbeyondvr.com. Don't forget, use the promo code JCS. Save 5%, and there's already no middleman fees. So there's none of that nonsense, none of the, VRBO nonsense.
VRB markup.
Mm-hmm. None of that. Woo! 38 degrees where Troy is, he says in the chat. I'd take 38 right now. If I had been here for, say, and I have, weeks on end, you could drop me into 38. I might be all right with it.
I spent one day in 65 and sunny last weekend.
In New York, yeah.
It was every bit as amazing as I remembered it was a couple months ago.
You know what I did? I walked outside this morning bright and early with my cup of joe, and I cursed because it was hot again. I went, damn it, man. Then I took another sip and calmed the hell down. Walked out the door.
Cornbread?
No, I didn't at that time. A little early in the day. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
Ain't nothing but a G-Pod, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby!
See? Remix!
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good. Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those storm leaks. Call 850-766-134. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
CCC 1331204.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Knowles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your sports flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
College baseball, number 2, Florida State losing to number 4, North Carolina yesterday, opening up the final regular season series. With that, Florida State drops to 36-12, 16-9 in the league play. Series does continue today. Florida State will have a left-hand pitcher, Joey Bellini, on the mound. He's 8-3 with a 3.18 ERA. Florida baseball, they pick up a good win yesterday as they knock off number 18 Alabama 7-6. They get their best comeback victory in about 2 years as they were down by 5 runs before they start the comeback And now Florida is looking to secure at least a series of victory in Game 2 today. As Pierce Coppola is on the mound, he enters with a 3-0 record. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save.
Check it out. Look at that. This is from my friends at Huel. I'm going to tell you a little story about Huel. Huel is obviously paying for this advertisement, which is great. There's no shame in that. They recognize the popularity of the Great Jeff Cameron Show, and they want to be a part of it. And for that, I'm grateful. But I was drinking Huel. I was having Huel shakes, Tom, in the morning 2 years ago. I came across it one day when I was researching nutrition because I don't do well in the mornings. I don't eat breakfast all that often, and I know that I need to. And I never really feel hungry, but I know I need, obviously, the nutrients that come with eating a balanced breakfast, something that's good for you, a meal, if you would. And this is a meal in a bottle. That's what this is. It is unbelievable what you get with this. It is packed with nutrients that your body needs. This is no prep, no cooking. I'm out the door, and it tastes good. It's affordable. It's delicious. And right now, new customers get 15% off plus a free gift at Huel.com when you use my code. My code is Warchant. You're going to want to do this today. Mornings can be chaos in a lot of our houses. I understand that. You're out the door. You realize you haven't put together a balanced meal. Huel will do that for you. You drink it, you're on the go. And here's the thing, you feel full and you're ready to go. Go again to Huel.com. Use my code WARCHANT. You'll get 15% off. New customers, 15% off plus a free gift at Huel.com when you use my code WARCHANT.
Water has reached the hallway now, and it's getting pretty deep. Can you get here anytime soon?
4 hours?
Hey, guys, can you please hurry? Now my wiener dog is doing the backstroke over here, and they're not known to be strong swimmers. Hey, honey, grab his life jacket.
8 hours?
Oh, so now you're here.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. Our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. And now M&L Plumbing can also be your go-to for all septic tank pump-out services. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing. Your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That you get off of work, leave that place behind, hop in the vehicle, enjoy freedom. Ice cold one, little BBQ. Take it over to the ballpark for some of you. Some of you watch it at the house, whatever it might be. But it ain't working. I'm with you. Very ready for this weekend. I'm ready for all of them. But I'm really ready for this weekend. And dare I say, we should be celebrating more. I always do. Yesterday was the pseudo celebration, but today marks 99 days until college football starts. We are under 100. We did it. That's right. We did it. It's not 3 digits. It's 2 digits. 99 days, guys.
Congratulations.
I will not poo-poo the number like you just did.
No, I was saying to all the people out there, congratulations.
I'm saying that it's something to embrace. 99 does not feel interminable. 100 does. Sometimes it's just a shift. Like when we say days or weeks or months or years, how you phrase it. It's a year away. 52 weeks. Ooh, okay. 365. Like you go through it.
Yeah, 365 I think feels the best in that scenario.
None of those feel good.
52 weeks is hurtful.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. But then when you live that life and you make it through the year, golly, we flew through 52 weeks pretty quick, didn't we?
It kind of was February last I looked at the calendar over here on the side.
I'll tell you this. Last year at this time, we were gearing up. It was already in that moment. You're past the halfway point in May, and you're going, we're going to Ireland. Oh, man, we got to get it together, guys. And then, that drive happened right down the field, touchdown. And we were like, ass kicking Central. Here we go, boys. Let's keep it rolling. And the train came off the tracks.
Do you think if Florida State, under the Tallahassee Sun at 3:42 p.m. on a Saturday in August, goes right down the field, 11 plays,
touchdown,
that the fans will all be excited, but they're going to look at each other and be like, okay, all right.
Hold.
All right.
Hold.
I'm happy, but I'm not losing my crap just yet. I'm just happy. This is controlled happiness.
Oh, yes, there's no doubt. And for lots of reasons, not just because they got punched in the gut last year right after that touchdown. They knew. They saw it. We all did. We were there. The Viva Stadium. Watched Georgia Tech with the greatest of ease and Haynes King right down the field themselves for a touchdown. And next thing you knew, you're like, whoa, defense got to get their head out of their ass, don't they, guys? Hey, this is not good. But then you figured, our turn. Let's go down again. No.
Well, it started off kind of sort of that way.
Yeah.
But then, we dropped the
screen pass
to a true freshman.
Got to catch the ball, though, man.
Well, we got to get him in the game.
We didn't
we
have to
get him in the game.
Really weird substitution patterns. We don't have to do this. We won't do it. It did happen. All of it was strange.
I know that Jalen Lucas feels fresh right now, and he's looking at us and saying, why am I not in here in this spot? But we need to get the true freshman in there.
Yeah.
Because we're going to work on some things against Georgia Tech.
I'm going to return to football in just a second. So don't get all upset, everybody, that only wants to talk about football forever. Can we just say it out loud? Dustin Johnson's done as a professional golfer. He's not. They should ask for their money back. If I were Liv, he's out here throwing up 80s, dude. He doesn't care. This is ridiculous. He's plus 12. He's nearly in last place. I mean, you're not even trying, man.
And the putter broke him. I actually saw a little bit of his round yesterday and in the afternoon, and he was coasting along fine at like even or one under or one over. And then there was a 3-putt from 6 feet, and it all went to hell.
Well, he shot a 78, so clearly it didn't.
It did not stop from there.
Remember when Jason Duffner was a good player?
He won this very event 12 years ago.
Yes. He's 13 over.
I believe he celebrated by giving his wife a hug in a strange way.
Oh, no, it was the greatest of ways. It was a hug with a little slappity-do on the ass, and it was a great ass. And then we found out that ass had been borrowed by Tiger, and we all went, man, poor Jason Duffner.
Here I thought you would handle that delicately. You did not.
Succinctly.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Jason Duffner. Now he's out here tied for 151st.
Racy Libations Friday.
Tied for 151st is Jason Duffner after the tap scene around the world. That's a toughie. Just as a snapshot of how difficult this PGA Championship is playing, and that nobody thought would be the case. The talk leading up to this whole tournament was, man, it has been pouring rain up there in Charlotte, North Carolina. Quail Hollow is a place that in the past people have just thrown darts when it's damp, including Rory McIlroy, who's won there 4 times. And I don't know, this is going to be target practice. Oh, nay. It is for Jonathan Vegas, apparently, but not anybody else. Listen to some of these names that are not going to make the cut unless it changes. You ready? Jordan Spieth, thanks for that run at trying to finish the Grand Slam. You're not going to make the cut. That's a toughie. But Spieth, no. Schauffele, currently, no. We shall see. Still has time early in the round. Sam Burns, no. Justin Thomas, no. Hideki Matsuyama, no. Ludwig Aberg, no. Did I say Sung J.M.? Making Jesse? No. Phil Mickelson's at +9. I mean, it goes. Patrick Cantlay's at +5. No. Will Zalatoris +6. No. On and on. Brooks Koepka +8. No. Brooks Koepka is pulling a Dustin Johnson. He's not playing real golf either. Justin Rose, no. +9 after what we just saw from Justin Rose.
Is that right?
+9, Tom. Russell Henley's +10. One of the favorites is +10.
Adam Hadwin +11. He shot 80 today.
On and on and on. It is, well, and Dustin Johnson, obviously. You got a lot of guys who are hanging on for dear life. Towards the bottom of that cut line, Corey Connors, Jason Day, Shane Lowry, Ricky Fowler. I mean, are we going to wake up on Saturday morning and be like, all right, let's see if Joe Highsmith can pull it out?
I think we might.
He's got to beat Ryan Gerard.
So there was one really good number today.
And Alex Smalley and Steven Yeager and Joe and Eric Cole. Should be a doozy of a weekend.
The season's second major. Glorious indifference on a Sunday.
I wonder, I would love to ask the pros. I'd like to ask these players, the aforementioned players, some of the best players in the world that have been out here puking on themselves for 2 days. What's going on, man? What about this course has allowed for the rise of the also-ran? In mass, we have the mules of the tour making their way towards the top. I'm rooting for guys to have success stories. Don't care. I know, again, I'm going back to football in just a second, but cool, great. Maybe Matthew Pavon, Ryan Gerard, Michael Thorbolson, Bazazenhout, and Spahn and Bland and Rye and Riley and Echevarria. And maybe they all go out there and have a big weekend. But what has happened where it's just this bloodbath for anybody who's had success on the tour? and everybody hanging on to their card for dear life is near the top of the leaderboard.
I just like that Adam Hadwin, who's a very, very good golfer.
Yes.
And got smoked today. Max Homa beat him by 16 shots today.
Biggest name on the board. Homa shot a 64. Is 5 back of the lead after going 7 under today. At least he'll be around for the weekend, but I don't think he's a big enough draw for the ratings.
No, certainly not. If you've got Pavone, Johnny Vegas, and Max Homa as the 3 contenders, you got a lot
and just beneath him a little Alex Smalley, Ryan Gerard, Luke Donald action.
I think you got a lot of people who would rather watch the Sevy movie on Golf Channel for the 80th time.
Is 3-man basketball going on right now? Is that 3-man thing happening? Is Ice Cube's League going on right now? Are we all tuning into the Ice Cube's League this weekend? Holy moly. So I said it's 99 days till the start of college football to re-energize, right? And then that got me looking, because I was already looking at Castellanos' numbers from last year and entertaining the quote from Norvell and, just Florida State. We've gone over our schedule for W's and L's a million times. And I thought about how soon it is we need to be out of this conference. And then I thought, well, what if we were? What if we were out of this conference and ESPN said, you're going to you're going to the SEC. We need you in the SEC. It's all hands on deck. You're one of the great brands in college football history. You and Clemson are going to the SEC. We're going to keep Fox at arm's length. They were on the verge of calling and making the invite, and we couldn't have that. So we're going to get the jump start on it, and we're getting you and Clemson and North Carolina and whoever the hell else is the fourth, whatever, Miami. They're in, all right? And the Big Ten will have to take somebody else. They'll go after Virginia and, whatever they'll do, okay? All right, cool. We're in the money. Thank God. We can keep our successful women's programs. Wonderful. And we can make this one competitive on the recruiting trail in terms of dollars. We can do all those things, right? All right, let's pick an SEC team. Now we're in the league. Let's say we had Texas's schedule this year. So I went and looked at Texas's schedule.
This doesn't sound like a positive thing.
Not a negative thing. I just want to know your mindset, because we're hoping sooner rather than later, the schedule that I'm about to tell you that Texas, I could have used anybody. I didn't do. Now listen, I had forgotten temporarily in this exercise that they're playing Ohio State to start the year. That we don't have to play Ohio State to start the year. We could, but we don't have to. And I would advise against it until we're really rock solid. But we already have freaking Georgia on the schedule coming up, and we have Alabama this year and next. But Georgia and Alabama might be on the schedule fairly regularly when we get into the SEC. So that's fine. That's realistic. So exclude that Ohio State game, although, we play weird one-offs all the time. So you never know. We could do it again down the road. What if we scheduled a game against Oregon? That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
All right, so here you go. Fast forward, it's 2 years from right now. We have the same schedule as another SEC team, a newer member of the SEC. They've had to wrap their mind around this. Oklahoma and Texas have had to wrap their mind around this very recently. So this would be our schedule. We would be facing Ohio State to start the year, which is, again, the exception. But we would have a couple of also-rans like San Jose State and UTEP, which is what they did. But you'd be on the road against Florida. You'd be hosting Oklahoma. You'd be on the road against Kentucky. You'd be on the road against Mississippi State. You'd host Vanderbilt. You'd be on the road against Georgia. You'd host Arkansas. And you'd host Texas A&M at the end. Now, you'd have to throw in a Miami because I don't think we're going to get rid of that rivalry. And you might actually play Florida at the same time that they play Florida, which is, you might move that game around. But that's what your schedule would look like. And I know that as we are currently constructed, you go, whoa, they're a killer. That's not good. But I'm assuming that things work out, that we're going to be better. Imagine what that would do for our season ticket holders, our boosters, our alumni, our fans. Imagine what that would do for this economy in Tallahassee, Florida. Imagine what that would do for your day-to-day enthusiasm for the sport of college football. If I told you, Tom, which of these roadies do you want to go to? You want to go to Between the Hedges and see us play Georgia next year? Because we're playing them. You want to go on the road, face Oklahoma, Norman? Should be fun. We've done it before, is what we'd be saying, but pretty cool place to go see a game. You want to go on the road and see, Kentucky, go to Lexington, see what it's like. You want to like in the years where we play Vanderbilt and it's in Nashville. Want to go to Nashville? Sure, I'll go to Nashville. Let's go to Nashville and see a game. And then reverse it. Have Oklahoma coming here. Have, obviously, Arkansas coming here. Have Texas A&M coming here. Have Georgia coming here. That's every week you're like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is the dream, because then also you would get the best basketball conference in America for that particular part of the calendar, because it is.
It is now.
And you think about the baseball roadies you could take in the spring.
Oh, buddy.
Around February and March in the South?
It'd be
Come
crazy.
on now.
It'd be fun.
That's the one I'd be more interested in, because I think from a work standpoint, I'd be able to make some of those happen a little bit easier.
Well, you bring up a great point, because this is the difference between the Big Ten and the SEC. For as much as people don't want to join the hated SEC and the mouth breathers that wave the flag of the SEC, especially since they're married to ESPN now, there's a cauldron of hatred. I got it. But let's not kid ourselves. Watching Florida State baseball, as excited as we are certainly tonight to see if they can bounce back and beat North Carolina and all that, every week SEC baseball is phenomenal, and the environs would be incredible. And Florida State is an elite program that will more than hold their own and even be elite within the SEC. The second they step foot in the conference from a baseball standpoint, we are ready to compete at the highest level with all of those teams.
I think it would be a great side hustle to create a bus service that could take you to different areas of the SEC footprint for road trips across multiple sports. And then they book the hotel for you, and it's just called like the Knoll Line or whatever it is.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
But I mean, you could actually do that with this particular footprint, because even though some of those trips might be 5 or 6 hours, it's still only 5 or 6 hours.
With a keg on the bus.
Exactly. Yes. You make it a party.
Good eats.
Forget
about it.
Right. You could have you could even have a plan for the people that go on the bus for VIP dinners here, or just a casual meet and greet or a casual happy hour there.
Golf in that city when you get, oh, we are doing this thing.
That is a good business that could be created if we were in that conference. Now, the Big Ten can't do that.
Can't do it.
Flights are a little more expensive.
Also, again, from a baseball standpoint, just baseball standpoint, come on, man. You're playing Vanderbilt tomorrow. You're turning around, you're playing Tennessee tomorrow. You turn around, you're playing Florida tomorrow. You turn around, you're playing Georgia tomorrow. You're playing Mississippi State, which has a great baseball tradition. You're playing, like every week. You're going to Texas. You're going to Austin to face Texas. You're going to Norman to face Oklahoma on the diamond. You've seen Arkansas's ballpark? It's unreal. The facilities there and at Texas A&M. Go on that roadie the same way we did LSU, which is another team you'd be facing on the regular.
Always. That bus service would go to LSU for whatever sport every year. Done.
I wouldn't miss a sport that was traveling to LSU. I'd go to the basketball game, the football game, the baseball game.
I'd make it a 2 or 3 day trip because you get to have one night in Biloxi on the way out.
Oh,
or back.
Man.
Either way. Probably on the way out's easier.
Jeff and Tom's bus coming to pick you up soon. Let's go.
Yep. For only $249.99 plus hotel.
Well, we'll work out the prices. We'll get this figured out. I think that you're letting them off cheap, buddy.
Well, I said plus hotel. $249 a ticket on the bus. That gets you a seat on the bus and some cocktails on the bus.
I was going to say it gets you free drinks and free food, so you can't. I think we got to go higher than $249.
Okay. Well, how big is this bus?
It's a sizable, comfortable bus.
How many people? Because you don't want too many people.
I don't want too many people. It's an exclusive bus. 20 people.
Okay. All right.
20 people on the bus.
Is that even a bus or just a big van?
It's a Mercedes big van.
Or like 2 of them.
Yeah.
Break it up
two
into
big
2.
Mercedes vans.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will do it. Let's go. Let's get out of this league. Let's go do this thing. That is the footprint and the joy.
Themed beverages based upon the place we're going.
So if you're going to Baton Rouge, yes, that's the food.
Everclear.
I like it. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. We do need to do a red zone here when we come back. And
so many questions.
First down, second down, third down, fourth down coming up. Artisan
questions.
Financial Services. We'll do it next.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Do you have spring fever? Your only prescription is the Lawn Johns. Hi, it's Mark from the Lawn Johns. We can make your landscape more appealing by providing you with award-winning lawn care. With 4 levels of service, the Lawn Johns offers you more choices than the rest. More flowers, more mulch, or more pine straw all means that your home or office will be more beautiful than ever. So if you've got spring fever, go to thelawnjohns.com or just look for our big purple truck.
I gotta have more cowbell.
Whidden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, Your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
All right, buddy, it's that time. We shall get it started. I have no idea what first down constitutes here. I got to imagine that it'll be good, though, because Tom's always good at this. I would suggest for all of you before we get started and play the sounder, NoelRetirement.com. That is NoelRetirement.com. More on that momentarily. Cue it up.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright. It's no good.
You have entered.
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North, South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
That's good to know.
And just like that, it's time to get it on. If you need to learn more about retirement planning, all the things you think about in terms of financial planning, estate and legacy planning, risk management, business successions, exit strategies, the things that you need to know. Do I have enough money to make it to the very end? To get on that Jeff and Tom bus when the footprint's in place? Artisan Financial Strategies. Go over to NoelRetirement.com. Watch that video, Scoring in the Retirement Red Zone. Success in your garnet and golden years, by the way. How about that? You like that? Build a winning game plan with my man, Adam Tolliver. Fellow Noel, really good at his job. Cares deeply, works really hard. We'll do that for you as well. NoelRetirement.com. Get that free assessment. Just click on the website and you're good to go. All right, here we go. First down.
All right, first down. I'll keep it to football because we just had a discussion about Tommy Castellanos.
We did.
So I'm looking for you to set an over-under for Tommy's rushing yardage for the season, 12-game season total, please. What would be that number?
12-game season total rushing yards.
For Tommy C.
You want the over-under.
That is correct.
1,000 yards.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
But I'll put it at 1,000 yards.
Oh, that's an aggressive over-under.
They just got to run the hell out of him. He's had over 1,000 yards rushing in a season before. He is, when he's healthy, that's what he does. He's a marquee rusher. I don't think he'll get it. I think that we can win and succeed and have the kind of year we want to have with him rushing for 700 yards. But I don't know. Maybe I would, if I want to entice more people, I don't know. Maybe I'd set it at 852.
Fair enough. Dyslexia, I had it at 825 in my head.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that would be the true, if he hits 1,000, okay, second down. If Tommy Castellanos runs for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, we win 8 games.
Okay.
At least that'd be the minimum number of games to win. Yes, it means that Gus's style of attack is working. That he's utilizing Tommy's legs. It means we're having enough success with the traditional running game that opens things up as well. And then I would also say it means that our offensive line is healthy.
Also means that Tommy's healthy.
That's what I'm saying over and over again. Yeah. Tommy's staying healthy is a concern at his size, but he's done it before. He's done it as a runner before and stayed healthy and rushed for over 1,000 yards. You need the best version of Tommy Castellanos. That's the best version. The healthy one that rushes for over 1,000 yards.
All right. Third down. On average, on a game-by-game basis, so it's like on a per-game basis, do you think Florida State's wide receivers will amass more receiving yards, or will the combination of tight ends and running backs amass more yards than the wide receivers?
Any yards. Rushing or receiving.
These are receiving yards. This is...
Oh.
Yes. Receiving yards. Either the wide receivers or the tight end running backs.
The receivers will because of the big playability of Deuce.
Okay.
Because of the big playability of Deuce. He's going to have some big games. They're going to spring him. It's going to happen. And if you can create one-on-ones and wrinkles off of what we do in the run game to little pop plays, like that kind of stuff for him, he's going to win those battles.
Well, and looking at some of those numbers from Nick Marshall in the previous segment, he would only throw for 150 yards a game in his first season. In his second season, around 200, a little less. But the yards per attempt was over 8.5.
Yeah, big plays.
It's all about the shots.
It's the shot plays. It's the big plays. Yep.
Fourth down, we may have a bonus down. I don't know. But I'm going off the board here.
I've got a bonus down for you.
Awesome. Well, fourth down, first of all, the next Florida State Seminole alumni in men's golf to win a major at the professional level will be who?
Daniel Berger.
Okay.
He's 25th in the world currently. He's come all the way back from injury. He's putting much better. He's found himself inside the top 20 of a couple tournaments recently, top 15 even. I think he's getting back to the guy that was on the Ryder Cup team. I think he's getting back to being that guy. He's seasoned. He's won on tour before. I think he's most equipped to do it. Now, you wanted me to say Clanton, and I understand why, because he's been in contention in some big tournaments, and he's got the medal for it, the mentality for it. Just got done winning here and winning the individual. He's a horse. I love him, but I think Daniel Berger's a better bet to get one sooner than him.
I think he certainly could. I think you could see a run of the three large Noles winning a major in the next 5 years, like all of them. I think Brooks can still win a major. He's got to get off a live. He will after this year.
He desperately has to. He's not playing competitive golf, man.
Here's the good thing about his game, though. Having watched most of his featured group yesterday, as hard as that was to watch, short game's fine. He's got the two-way miss thing going, which is not good. But in his career, he can fix that two-way miss. But the short game and the putter, they look fine.
Okay.
Relative to the rest. So I think Florida State could have a couple few years of...
Well, I'm rooting for it. And by the way, if he did, wouldn't that be his sixth? Yeah. Good Lord. That'd be the strangest six-time major winner of all time.
He would be.
It would be. Because the careers, compared to that accomplishment,
right?
You'd be like, what?
It'd be the Florida Marlins of being in that group. Like, what? Yeah. When they go, they win.
Well, it'd be the Florida Marlins if they had two more World Series championships out of nowhere, where you'd be like,
and
what?
Only 4 playoff appearances in their franchise history.
That's it.
All World Series.
Yeah. That extra down that I'm going to give you, ESPN today, it's list season. I'm going to give you another one to start the next hour with the top 10 coaches voted on, and we'll have fun with that. They also did one, Tom. They also know it's list season about storylines that you must know about going into the season. And it starts with the obvious stuff, this house settlement impact on walk-ons and roster sizes and things like that if it goes through. They asked the question, will Mike Gundy bounce back? Will Lincoln Riley bounce back? Two big names in the coaching industry that were awful basically last year. Mike Gundy in particular, challenging fans and everything else. That just doesn't usually end well when you start the challenging to the fans thing. Asked a lot of different questions, but guess where they got to? You knew it was coming. It was called number 6, coaching encores. A lot can change in one college football season. Just ask Mike Norvell or Ryan Day. 2 years ago, Norvell was hurting as his team was bypassed for the college football playoff, then watched the bottom fall out of Florida State's 2024 season, going from 13-1 to 2-10. Ryan Day, meanwhile, lived both lives in a matter of months, losing to Michigan with calls for his head coaching position before getting in the first 12-team playoff ever and beating Notre Dame to win the national title. So the theme for many coaches is, what will they do for an encore? Day gets to replace quarterback Will Howard and running backs Keyshawn Junkins, and Travion Henderson is a stud. Norvell convinced his old mentor, Gus Malzahn, to leave the head coaching job at UCF to focus again on just the offense as a coordinator at FSU. Meanwhile, Rich Rodriguez became a rising star by going 60-26 at West Virginia, returns to try to bring the Mountaineers back again. And Scott Frost, who fell from grace at his alma mater with Nebraska, returns to UCF, where he went 19-7, including 13-0. Coaching encores for your extra down and what you'll be watching as you go into college football. The added bonus is the end there with Rich Rod returning to West Virginia and Scott Frost returning to UCF. Forgotten all about it. I'd forgotten about Rich Rod at West Virginia, a job Jimbo Fisher wanted for sure.
Yeah, I'd say in general over the last 12 months, I don't remember a lot of college football national topics at all because our season beat the crap out of me. And
I beat you up.
I couldn't wait to run into the arms of the NFL the next day. I was like, leave that all behind. Let me watch these professionals.
Well, and the NFL has been really, really good the last couple of years too. You easily ran into the arms of the professionals.
Yeah, if you're saying like, what's the power balance of the Big Ten? Like, I don't care. What is the NFC West looking like? Like that was my response this year. Not typical, but 2-10 will do that to you, man. Especially 2-10 with as many primetime kicks as we had.
Oh, every game solo separated from everything. Here you go, guys. Watch this terrible product from a name brand.
8:45 ESPN3.
Yeah, it was something to behold. By the way, the number one on that list was Belichick Goes to School. Of course, yes, everybody will be watching Bill Belichick at North Carolina. Rapid fire bonus number 2, just because it's fun. Ohio State at Michigan, Texas A&M at Notre Dame, South Dakota at North Dakota State, Montana State at Montana, Boise State at Notre Dame, Oregon at Penn State, Texas at Georgia, Penn State at Ohio State, Alabama at Georgia, Texas at Ohio State, and Alabama at Florida State. Okay. Games to watch as highlighted by the list for all things college football.
Oregon, Penn State's cool.
Yeah, I always like to get the names out there. We already knew Alabama and Georgia played. We already knew Texas and Georgia played. But Oregon, Penn State, I hadn't thought about, and I hadn't thought about Boise State at Notre Dame, which would be kind of a fun game.
I think Oregon should go with the absolute most ridiculous thing it possibly can, which is saying something, because Penn State will just be navy and white and basic, and you have something that looks like transported from the future.
You want the greenest of green?
I want their metallic sheen that gives people eye damage in the stands because the sun's low in the sky.
That silver one, the whites with the silver helmets, like the
stormtroopers.
I freaking love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the weirdest thing about Oregon, they simultaneously at times have the best uniforms and the worst uniforms from week to week. It's crazy.
Yeah, their best one I think is the yellow helmet UO.
The old school, yeah.
With the really rich bright green. That is.
It's not Kelly green. It's a brighter green.
It is brighter. Yeah. It's more like North Texas.
It's not bad. those silver.
It's like
Stormtrooper ones are bad.
It's like the Eagles throwback green. That green.
That's, I think, Kelly green.
That's a little bit more than Notre Dame's green, though.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And by the way, Penn State should never change. I love their uniforms.
Yeah. Be basic.
And frankly, not only that, they ought to just always be white on white with very minimal blue.
Boy, that SMU quarterback really
scared to death of Penn State. He really couldn't believe that he was there.
Served it up to Franklin.
He was awful. And you know what? You knew he was awful. Come on, we all did.
That was the scout before our game, but
pissed me off. Then he goes out there and immediately it's too cold. He was freezing to death in warm-ups. So I was like, good God. And that was a great observation. It was Nick Saban. He's like, I'll tell you what, you don't always learn a lot in warm-ups, but he pointed right at him. He's like, look at that kid. He's cold. That, that was some old school coach thing. Look at that kid. He doesn't want to be here. It's a playoff game, my man. Buck up, soldier.
Yeah, I think if he's the defensive coordinator that day, he goes, we need to change some things. This kid is not comfortable. Let's make him less comfortable.
Good God, man. That was something to behold. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Don't forget, NoleRetirement.com, my friends at Artisan Financial Strategies. Best of the best, helping you out, getting set for retirement.
Your local news now.
An arrest has been made after a 4-year-old girl was found walking along U.S. Highway 19 Tuesday night in Ocklackney. The incident unfolded a little before 7:30 p.m. Tuesday after travelers on U.S. Highway 19 saw the young girl walking along the highway with her dog. The 4-year-old was found in proximity to where her grandmother Vaughn and mother lived. The young girl's grandmother, Lisa Vaughn, was arrested and faces a charge of cruelty to children. The sheriff's office wrote in a social media post on Facebook that more arrests are forthcoming. The arrest comes after TCSO announced Wednesday morning that it was investigating after an incident circulated on social media about a child found on the side of the highway. At this time, the sheriff's office said the young girl has been placed with a family with help from the Department of Family and Children's Services. This is an ongoing investigation. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 95. Winds out of the southwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 70 tonight, cloudy. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times tomorrow, 96. Bright sunshine Sunday, clouds on the increase by Monday. Highs in the mid-90s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 92.
Searching for the best place to spend time outdoors this spring and summer? The Golf Club at Summerbrook has all the amenities you and your family need. Purchase a family pool membership this season and enjoy the most luxurious and relaxing resort-style pool in the entire city with a 6,000 square foot deck, covered pavilion, and poolside drink and food service. You'll feel like you're on vacation. Reserve your pool membership today. Visit the Golf Club at Summerbrook.com or call 850-894-GOLF. That's 894-GOLF.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude,
no.
I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Speaking of the laundry lists of lists in list season, they did do the Pete Thamel 10 coaches to watch. And yeah, you knew Mike Norvell would be on it. That list looks like this: Dabo Swinney, Mike Gundy, Mike Norvell, Marcus Freeman, Brian Kelly, Deion Sanders, Kalen DeBoer, Brent Venables, James Franklin, and Bill Belichick. This ties nicely with what I want to do to start the next hour, which is going through these votes on the best coaches in the game. But it's right. If you're just spotlighting people, you would spotlight Brian Kelly. You would spotlight, obviously, Mike Norvell, who said, Norvell is entering his 6th year at FSU, but doesn't it feel longer? Started off with 2 losing seasons, then won 10 games before a 13-0 start to the 2023 season that culminated with the ACC championship. But the college football playoff snub sent Florida State into a tailspin as the team went 2-10 last fall. Norvell hired notable coordinators Gus Malzahn and Tony White to help engineer a turnaround, which he'll need to reach year 7 in Tallahassee. Now, that's a realist, direct approach and correct, I think. That's fine. That is right. He will need that. Marcus Freeman entered 2024 with questions about his readiness, amplified after a Week 2 loss to Northern Illinois, but ended the season in the national title game. After getting everything he could out of that team, Freeman has a younger but arguably more talented squad for the 2025 season. Notre Dame will ride with an unproven quarterback, C.J. Carr or Kenny McKinchey, but return stars on both sides of the ball. Another college football playoff appearance will cement the 39-year-old Freeman as one of the sport's best coaches. Fair enough. A couple more just quickly. Brian Kelly. Kelly came to the Bayou with the express purpose of winning a national title. Said as much, just like the 3 Tigers coaches before him, Ed Orgeron, Les Miles, and Nick Saban. Instead, he watched his former team, Notre Dame, make a college football playoff run while he sat at home again. Kelly could have his best team as quarterback Garrett Nussmeier stayed. LSU made a strong transfer portal push. Needs a good start at Clemson, though, after dropping his first 3 season openers with the Tigers. Oh, by the way, they don't forget about it in Baton Rouge. It's brought up often. Both those losses to FSU and then the loss last year. Kind of curious to see what they think about. What are you laughing about? Am I missing something?
No, because I recall when we beat them the second time, and I heard that reaction show.
Oh my God!
And the one host is dropping F-bombs left and right.
Furious.
And he's like Steve Martin at the rental car desk in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Which is great. Yeah.
I'm effing tired, effing scheduling, effing opponents to start the season. You know we play next year? USC. You know we play the year after that? Clemson. And in 26, they play Clemson again to start the season.
Yeah.
Can we stop?
Well, and the thing that sucks is, like, look, man, you're LSU. You've got resources, high expectations, and a lot of money. You got talent. You had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback who's now a superstar in the NFL. You had one of the rookies of the year candidates at wide receiver who was a stud with the Giants now. I mean, they had, everything. Brian Thomas is a stud with the Jaguars. They had nothing but talent everywhere. My point isn't that, you lose one of those games. It'll happen. If you schedule somebody great to start a year, somebody's going to win the Florida State-Alabama game. You can have a bunch of those, and you can lose some of those. You can't lose all of them. They lose all of them. All the time. All of them. So that's why that guy's like, damn it. We don't win these games. Ever. Don't schedule them anymore.
At least in 2027, they have Houston. No doubt, much like a Ryder Cup year, you can set your watch by middling Europeans having the season of their life.
Houston will be on the upswing.
That will be a loaded roster that they retain with oil money.
It'll be like, really? So Houston's got the number 1 pick in the draft quarterback next year? Really? That's what we're doing? He's going to be like...
And it's Jaden Daniels' brother. How did we not get this kid?
Kalen DeBoer, the foe that we face. And, not that distant future. DeBoer followed a coaching icon in Nick Saban. He did indeed. It went through a turbulent first season as Alabama missed the college football playoff despite the expanded field. He has had a full offseason to shape and develop the roster, reunited with offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, who was integral to the Washington Huskies' surge. Must pick a quarterback, likely Ty Simpson over Austin Mack, and get more overall consistency. Another college football playoff miss will not be received well in Tuscaloosa, and certainly not by that writer at AL.com, who's tired of the shabbily dressed Kalen DeBoer. He's all but called him frumpy, disheveled with man boobs. Does not care for Kalen DeBoer's Saturday attire. It leads his columns. Look at this guy. No wonder we're losing. I got to go back and find that guy, read those articles. He's somewhere being mad right now about Kalen DeBoer's presence.
What's interesting is with Saban, I know you heard this too. This is coming out of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a feeling that there was a little bit of cracks forming in the foundation of Alabama.
Yeah.
It's not to say that the talent wasn't there, but just the way that the operation was going, the locker room was going. You know, he lost 2 games every year except for COVID in his last 5 seasons at Alabama, which by his standards is, what the hell are you doing losing 2 games a year?
But that league is tough, man. That is he was playing, the Georgias of the world every year.
I'm just saying he had gone 5 years without losing 2 games.
Right.
The earlier part of the decade. He was head and shoulders above the league at that type of level.
Tell you what I didn't like seeing, the 10 early Heisman season trophy candidates. You know who was 1 on that list? Cade Klubnik. Number 1 on the Heisman list. Arch Manning was 2 behind Cade Klubnik. I'm going to take a leap of faith here, go with the pedigree, and say that Arch Manning is going to be special. He's loaded. They're loaded. I know he's only thrown, 63 career passes, but he's a star.
And you can run RPO.
Yes. And, they get the test right out the gates against Ohio State. So, listen, you want a launch into superstardom? You're not going to have to wait long. That game will be the most highlighted game going into that week. We all know that. Texas-Ohio State rematch, a game that Ohio State won by 2 touchdowns over Texas late. But Arch Manning stepping onto that field in that environment with that team being the opponent, what if he's great? You could wrap up the Heisman in week 1. He throws for 350, runs for another 50 and a touchdown. And you're like, well, that's it. It's over. They're not going to play a defense better than Ohio State's. It's going to be all right. He's going to have a good year, Yeah,
you rattled off their schedule earlier. Even though those are SEC teams they're facing, it feels quite doable.
Because they're Texas, because they're loaded. It's silly. Other Heisman candidates, Jeremiah Smith, for sure. Nussmeier at LSU. Unfortunately, Lagway at Florida. On that list.
Don't you have to win games? Like in mass?
Well, I think he has a
I
chance.
guess Lamar didn't. They crashed and burned at the end of the year, and he won the Heisman.
Well, and also, even we just got done talking about Jaden Daniels. Didn't they lose 3 or 4 games? They lost to us. I know that.
Yeah, they lost 3.
I think they lost 3. So,
but I think he scored on every play against Florida.
He went nuts.
That game against Florida. That is the greatest stat line. That's not a video game line. It's real that I've ever seen. And I'll have to refresh myself as to what it was. I'll pull it up here in a second. But that performance was unbelievable.
By the way, on their list alone, just by looking at their list alone, Florida State faces Ryan Williams in the first game of the season. As a 17-year-old true freshman, he was one of the most electric players in the country. We saw that. So, he averaged 18 yards per catch, Tom. You get him out the gates. Game number 1 on the list of Heisman candidates. You play Lagway on the road at the end of the year. On the list, doesn't mean he'll make it, but we do know there's talent there at 6'3", 240, big arm, all that stuff. He's tough to bring down if he's healthy. We face him. And then, of course, we face Cade Klubnik on the road, number 1 as a Heisman candidate. You got 3 Heisman candidates you face next year for certain.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have that marquee and then the drop-down effect. That's why if you could score an upset against one of those dudes,
golly, man,
would be huge for the program. against Florida on the night of November the 11th, 2023. Jaden Daniels completed 17 of 26 passes for 372 and 3 touchdowns, but he ran 12 times. You want to take a guess for how much he ran for 12 carries?
12 carries, 203 yards.
Very close. 234 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I remember it was bizarre. It was embarrassing.
He accounted for 600 yards of offense and 5 touchdowns.
It reminds me of the great Peter Warwick on the road against Clemson, where he did everything. Was unreal. One-man show to victory.
Was that 99?
I was at the wedding what was that? No, that wasn't 99. Go back to Peter Warwick on the road. Was it 600? What did I think he had over 600 yards if you're counting special teams. He went nuts.
Looks to be 98.
I was going to say it wasn't 99. Yeah, and he had to do it. He was unbelievable. Tony, you made me laugh. Yeah, ask D-Jax about tackling Lagway. I'd forgotten about it. I'd shoved it down. I'd replaced that memory with a cheerier thought. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV bonus hour up next. Stay with.
Everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia,